So welcome back, guys. In this video we're going to make some backgrounds for these terrariums here, so stick around. I hope you enjoy.
So this is the bark screening that I'm going to use to make some of these backgrounds for these enclosures. Just comes in a big length, metre high by 3 metres wide, but luckily for me I've got 600ml terrariums and 450ml terrariums. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to halve a lot of it, about 400 odd mil and then 600 odd mil, and then use this on multiple terrariums. I'm just going to take off the metal clip there and just silicone them into place in little strips, and hopefully that'll look kind of like the terrarium's up against a tree trunk or something like that. So I've gone ahead and I've just unraveled a whole bunch of the wire off this bark screening here. And I've got all these awesome pieces, all beautiful texture and stuff all over them. They're only very thin too, so I'll probably just be able to snap them with my hands. I don't think I'm going to have to bother really sawing them. But I'm going to revisit this in the morning because it's getting a little bit dark now. And anyway, I'll put the rest of it away for another day. So all I've done here is I've just measured up how much length that I need, how much width I need for the background, then just marked it. Then I'm going to quickly go through with a saw and just dock all the lengths. So you can kind of see there how the background's going to end up sort of looking, and I'll probably end up doing three sides of these terrariums as well. So the next step is I'm just going to use a little bit of silicone, put some layers across the bottom there, and then start putting these pieces into place. So I've gone ahead and I've done 2 terrariums and I've done 3 walls of these terrariums as well. There's a couple of little dags to trim up, but it's not too bad. Just a little bit of extra silicone that's around the place. I've done that one. I've also done this one down here. This is one of the taller ones. I also swapped out that timber rack just for the timber shelf just for one of the metal shelves, just to make life a little bit easier down the line. But I think I might actually end up putting a trio of the northern velvet geckos over into this enclosure, and I potentially might be getting a couple of little frog species as well, so I'll use those in some of these smaller kind of exoterras. But we'll see how we go with that.
So I've been talking to a friend that I've got a bunch of geckos off already, and he's graciously given me a deal that I can't refuse on some more geckos. So seeing as I've done those bark screens in those terrariums, the bark backings in those terrariums, I think I'm going to have to go ahead and quickly get some enclosures set up, just because I'm probably going to be getting these geckos tomorrow. So I need to start putting them together so then I don't have to race around tomorrow and actually do all the terrarium build then. So let's get building. Before I go putting any soil or plants or anything like that in there, first thing I'm going to do is put some upright supports. These geckos are arboreal geckos and like climbing, so they're going to love the background on this enclosure. But we're also going to be putting a few of these bits of cool, really barky timber in there as well.
I'll do the same as what I did to my last leaf tail enclosure. I'll just put a little screw through the top, just kind of pin them into place. Then we can go and put some plants and everything in there to really deck it out. So I've got a few plants here that I'm going to be using in this build, hopefully. I'll definitely be using this Silver Lady. That's just an awesome looking little fern. Definitely looks like a bit of a native plant. I'm not 100% sure whether it is or not. And then on the not so native side, I've also got this nice, I think it's a philodendron, yeah, red bristle philodendron. It's just got this awesome texture to the stem of the actual plant itself. So that'd be a cool kind of climbing plant in there. And then we've also got this Calathea insignius. Just another cool looking plant that I'm probably going to add into it. Maybe it's a bit of a foreground plant. I just really like the texture on it, and the cool pattern on the leaves. So yeah, we'll shake some dirt off the bottom of these and get these into place and start putting all the coleoptile in the tank. So I've just cut these bits of timber reasonably tight to the enclosure. They don't have to be 100% tight, but you just want to make sure you can get a little bit of a wedge in there. Of course, the bases to these uprights you can always cover around with soil and everything just to kind of really pin them in place. So I'm just using a tiny little, I think it's a 16mm screw, just to tap them so then they're not going to actually fall over once the animals are climbing around on them. Last thing you want to do is hurt your little critters. It's always good to have a little bit of a play around just to see how you like it set up, and you got to make sure that it's both aesthetically pleasing to you and it's also going to be functional for the animals and getting in and cleaning the enclosure and everything. So my main kind of theory of having that big hollow at the back there is that's where I'm probably going to be putting the big fern. So I want to try to leave that as open as I can. But at the same time I want to have a couple of these kind of towards the front. The geckos that I'm getting are a species that I already own. I've recently got a juvenile, and that's the Maritzi leaf-tail geckos. So my friend Drew gave me the thick-tail geckos and the velvet geckos. He's decided that he'll give me a pretty good price on his 4 adult Maritzis, so they look like they're adults, or nearing it at least. So what I'll probably plan to do is put a trio of the bigger animals into this cage, or I might even try all 4 together, but I just want to have a couple of spare little cages as well at the moment, just so if I do need to separate them out, then I have that option. The benefit to the bark background in this is something like a leaf-tailed gecko can use all the space along each wall apart from the front wall, as well as these vertical branches as well. So in particular, having a few larger leaf-tails in an enclosure of this size, it just gives them the options to be able to get away from each other. So all I've got to do is create a few hiding places with things like plants and that, so they can actually get away from each other. So basically the next step from there is I'm going to start getting a few of these plants ready. Just trying to squeeze around the base of this pot to loosen up the soil and give me a bit of play to get it out, but there's a few roots to this plant that have come through the bottom of the pot too, which is making it a little difficult. So I don't actually mind using a bit of this soil. I know it's a little bit frowned upon in most kind of bioactive builds and things. If I was doing it for frogs, I think I'd be a little bit more cautious about what I'm putting in there. But having some geckos, I'm not as cautious. I know it's a little bit 6 2/3, but at the end of the day, plants need good soil to be able to form a proper root structure and absorb nutrients correctly. I'm just really widening the base
of the fern, just so I can get it a little bit flatter into the enclosure. So that should probably do it. Let's set this into place and see how it looks. Move that bucket away. I think that's a pretty good spot there. Having that nice big plant against the back just means the geckos can get in behind it, make sure that they're out of sight, out of mind. I think they'll quite enjoy having that there as it is. So I'm just going to start putting some coir peat in there now, just to kind of bulk out the soils and everything. For animals like these that you're going to spray down quite frequently and kind of keep a little bit more humid and cool, just holds your moisture very well. Before I actually go putting any more coir peat into this enclosure, something I am going to start mixing around through the soil is some charcoal. So not only do springtails love getting into this stuff, it's actually great for your plants. It's great for drainage. So I'd say I'm going to use this pile of palm in this build. It's just a leftover couple of pieces from the last leaf tail enclosure build. But I just think that in the scheme of things, this just looks like something you'd find in the rainforest. I think I might end up keeping a couple of those plants just as house plants. That seems a little bit funny, but I actually quite enjoy those plants. I think that's looking quite nice just as it is. Maybe we'll put one more plant in there. Might give this little Boston fern a go in here as well, to see how it does. Maybe just down this front corner. Next step, I'm definitely going to put some of my trusty leaves in here. They're really dry now. What do you reckon? I think that's come together pretty good. Yeah, let's go get it in place and see what it looks like under some actual light. I think this little enclosure is looking fantastic, and I've actually gone ahead and I've just put this other one together quickly too. I didn't bother putting any branches in that, just because if I'm just housing a single gecko or something in there, then it's not too bad. They can just use all the wall space. There's plenty of room there for them to climb. But yeah, this main kind of feature piece is just awesome. I've got these guys away from all the other reptiles in the garage as well, just to try to keep a bit of the heat away from them as well. And I'll probably end up doing the same sort of trick with fans and thermostats as well, just in case the garage does get a little bit too hot. And of course, some regular misting as well. So welcome back. I'm really excited today because
So I've just come home with 4 more leaf tails. These guys are absolutely stunning. I'm very lucky to have these guys now in the collection. Really getting into the whole leaf tail side of things. I think they're just fantastic little critters. And these are the Moritz leaf tails. Try to get the lid off without disturbing them too much. I don't think they're exactly too happy about being transported. Now these guys do all have regenerated tails. Leaf tails are a little bit more prone to drop them than most other species. How cool are these little animals? Don't worry, I won't leave you hanging, I will get some close-ups. Even as a regenerated tail, that just looks so much like a leaf. Whoop. Almost got away from me there, mate. This one looks like a little female. Gotta let her go in here. Whoop. Or she'll let herself go. Hopefully I'm able to put the other ones in a little bit more elegantly than that. So this little one's losing his temper a little bit. Unfortunately doesn't have much of a tail left for now. That's alright. Loads of crickets. Should hopefully get that back. Pretty sure that's a little female as well. Let it go here on the branch. And just like that, they're gone. You can barely see them. I'm always amazed by the camouflage of these animals. So these guys do need a little bit of feeding up. A couple of them are a little bit on the skinny side, and that's a little bit skinnier than what I'd like to see them personally. But in saying that, hopefully it shouldn't take them too long to adjust into here. I've got a good supply of crickets. So hopefully with a little bit of TLC these guys come bounding right back. They're not too bad, but they just need a little bit of extra food, I'd say. They've got such cool little faces on them. Let this guy go in here. I'll try to get you a few close-ups now. So I hope you really enjoyed the build, guys. I hope you really enjoyed the bark background on this as much as I do. Just a simple idea, just to kind of think outside the box a little bit with what you can get from your local store. This was just an easy purchase from Bunnings. Hope you really enjoy the enclosure setup and everything that went along with it. I hope you really dig the geckos. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.
Believe me, I'm man who can say it. But the species may kill you earlier than you pick up with on a shit. Remember, from early morning till late now when you close your eyes, you have only yourself, you're familiar.